All right. It is 3:00, so we are going to get started. If you are looking for session G1, EJ Screen Empowering Environmental Equity, you are in the right place. Wansoo did not want me to read his bio. So what I know about him is that he has 3 daughters. He might be coming from the farthest distance of any speaker from Nashville, Tennessee. He attended the Watershed Forum 10 years ago, and he's excited to be back twice before. So that is Wansoo's introduction today. So I'm going to let him take it away, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, guys. Before we start, if you can just use this QR code, and then you can enter any data. Basically, this wasn't a plan, but we have a student like Gabriella, like she was here, and then I said, let's make something like interactive. So we made this one like 10 minutes before things started. And then she is a good kind of, like she gave good feedback, and we were able to make things happen, and I can show them that. So again, thank you. I'm really excited to be here, except now I need to move back. Okay, EJ Screen on Conservation. I'm an associate professor at the family medicine at the Meharry Medical College. So you may wonder what the heck he's doing here, right? But by education, I'm a planner. So I went to Chapel Hill, my master's, environmental planning, environmental and land use planning. And for my PhD at the Rutgers, I did weird transportation, healthcare, and IT, right? So, but you can see why I'm like where I am, but like my heart, I'm interested in like, social justice and health equity and then environmental justice, right? And so I will explain, but and then I have 3 daughters who are already married, and then one is going to be married soon. So I don't know. So this one is a test everybody who can do. You can use this QR code, and then I will show the result. If you use this QR code, you will have this kind of like quick survey, right? So this survey question can be designed, and then this thing is nowadays anybody can have this like similar kind of app. But I developed this app in 2005, right? So and then I'm going to explain, like some background story. Raise your hand if you're able to enter data. Raise your hand. Okay, so we have quite a few, so I think it should be okay. So I'm going to go to next. I only have 1 hour, but I prepared 3 hours for. So I will just do the path. This is the years of life potential loss. Let me just move this menu. Doesn't do anything high loading thing. Okay. This one is United States, and then years of potential life loss before like the age 75. We call it, this is like the dungeon of the public health, right? Depending on where you live, life expectancy is different, almost 20 years, right? The place that I live right now, our life expectancy is 57. So I'm actually living more than life expectancy in my time. You know why it is? Why do you think it is? It depends on what kind of water you drink, right? And what kind of air, whether you have access to the healthcare, right? And transportation, and your stress, right? How often you can see this green, right? You know that even there's a lot of articles in New England Journal, depending on how much time you spend with the green, right? There is a significant lower suicide rate. Did you know that? Right? And then also school performance of the kids is much higher. What we do is everything is evidence-based. We talk about statistics. We talk with numbers, unless we cannot talk, right? We can only assume, right? So I'm going to actually show you some of the thing about the EJ screen, but before I do, I just want to explain some of the background. That everything is in a way connected. Oh.
Click the slideshow with the mouse and then try it again.
Down. I don't. Oh.
If you just click on it, you should work again.
Okay, this one. Okay. So I'm doing this exposome. This is my main research. Basically, we try to look at how individuals' lifetime exposure of everything and why they got sick, or why there's a difference of the health, right? But in exposome, there's a lot of environmental component, right? A lot of environmental component. So I have about 85,000 variables. Can you imagine? 85,000 variables. We dump everything and we try to understand. And this is what it is. Social environment, traffic, built environment, natural environment, green space, climate, generally like something familiar, right? Whatever you are doing is directly connected with health, right? And then we look at the tobacco, like diet and water, physical activity, and it affects how our genome, like DNA, works, right? And it works our health, right? That's how, 80% of the reason that people got sick is not the virus. It's because of their behaviors. And there's social conditions and environmental conditions. How many people went to New York? I guess everybody, right? And people are looking for New York. You know what they are looking for initially? Bathroom, right? Not the restaurant, like not the place. Do you know who created the New York restroom map? Why am I asking? Because I'm the one. So I created this map in 2005. And I went to New York with my daughters and I was having difficulty of finding bathroom. And I said, there are gonna be ways that people can kind of share the information, right? This is like public participatory and citizen participatory, right? I created this map in 2005. So what is important is 2005 is the year that Google created their own Google My Map. If there is no Google Map, I wouldn't be able to create this app. I was able to bring their API. So at that time, they called me as a Google hacker because they didn't really let you use officially. So I just dragged it. And then, so Google My Map was available in 2005. Let me ask a question. Raise your hand, like just let me know, like, when, do you know when the first smartphone happened? Yes, just throw me some number.
1998.
What?
1998.
1998, good.
2000.
2000, it's 2007. Can you believe?
Oh, wow.
Wow, like it's not that far, right? That's first iPhone and Android, Samsung Galaxy was 2010 or 9, right? If you ask these questions to kids, like middle school, they said 1945. You know why? Since they were born, right? Like smartphone has been there. So smartphone become part of their body, right? But the reason that I'm saying is that there is a technology as a data side and then interface side is available. People can consume the data, but they can contribute data. There's a lot of things can happen, even in conservation, environment, and health. Am I going too fast? No. So this is like New Yorker magazine. I was one of the few people who were featured in New Yorker magazine for like 3-4 pages. You can search me, right? So anyway, I just want to drag it. So this is like an app and like a map, right? So New York restroom, even I created a map in 2005, is still a problem, right? So every year I have an interview from New York Times about this bathroom problem, right? Especially those people who are delivering, right? Or Uber, like plastic bag, like things that they carry. So it's a huge issue. So I've been always interested in how to make this kind of technology quick and easy and custom and instinct. So one of the apps that I used, that was used, is during the Hurricane Sandy. I don't know whether some of you may have heard that somebody did the gas station mapping, right? Who did that? Now you got, okay. I will buy you coffee at the cafeteria.
Shameless self-promotion.
So this is my town, like I used to live in Princeton, New Jersey. And this is a map that we created with the high school students, right? So it was used by the FEMA, Google. We have like 1 million visitors, right? But all this thing was possible because of technology and Google Map, but with community of people who got trained, right? And who know what they are doing and their willingness to work, right? And we can do the same thing in the conservation. That was featured in like so many media. So I used to be a bathroom guy, right? And then suddenly I become gas guy. And so I did featured in the like energy doc outside, and then got letter from Steve Chu. He's like the Department of Energy Secretary and all those. I actually visit the White House because of this event. Say ooh, wow. Wow, yeah, community mapping is defined actually by me. With the using mapping technology to identify, understand, analyze, resolve, disseminate community issues with the express intention of education and engagement and empowerment, right? These three are keywords. And then thing that I want to really talk about is these three keywords: education, engagement, empowerment on conservation, but how to use EJ screen, how to use data, how to use community participatory tool, right? To do this kind of thing. EJ screen. Now, a lot of people, I was surprised, a lot of people do not know what EJ screen. They think it's like screening environmental justice. So I'm going to do a quick survey. How many people actually use the EJ screen by EPA? Raise your hand. Okay, so some people who are not, who didn't use, I need to kind of balance the depth of my talk, right? Because some people didn't use the EJ screen. So how many people use more than 4 times a month? Oh, are you going to be shy or just okay? I'm not going to ask a question even you do 4 times, more than 4 times a month. Okay. I use EJ screen. The reason is, that I'm doing this public health exposome. They provide really detailed data since 2015 to 2022 at the census block group level, census tract level, right? So we download data and we use it for the analysis. But I kind of write down the proposal for this conference. I think there is like lots of potential, but the people are not really aware, right? What kind of functions are there? So I just want to like show the existing function and its potential and then how it can be used. Objective of the EJ screen, you can see it's basically try to see whether there's an environmental justice issues, right, in your community. I mean, it's a simple way. So you can just Google EJ screen on the Google. You can go to the site. It's totally free, right? And then also you work with any kind of the browser. So you can see there's a lot of environmental like index, supplemental index, right? You can, it's for the entire country. Pollution, oh, by the way, EPA is not paying me anything, don't worry. I need to disclose that. And then there's a socioeconomic indicator, demographic index, people of color, low income, unemployment rate. All this data is from the US Census data. They provide data at the state level, county, census tract, census block group. Now, when I say census tract, census block group, do you get the idea of what it is? Let me just give a little idea. We know state boundary, right? You know county boundary. Now, county, depending on where you are, the population changes a lot, right? Size, right? But census tract, they try to keep it somewhat same size with the some kind of, like a similar like a characteristic, right? So census tract, the average population is about 4,000 to 4,500. Census block group is the group of the block. Block is like about the 100 to 200 population. Census block group has 1,000 population on average. The reason that I'm saying is it shows how granular that you can look at the data. Okay, now. So this one shows the low income, even they show the broadband gap. You may wonder, broadband gap, like, how it is related with the conservation. But some of the people may already know, like if you want to really outreach, right? You want to know whether you can use the cell phone or internet. During the COVID, a lot of people were not able to get the vaccine because of what? Yeah, because they cannot make any reservation or appointment, right? So this becomes a huge issue actually during the COVID. Yeah. So you can look at, but Baltimore, look at this. why in Baltimore they have these broadband issues? Is it because they don't have internet access? Physically they have access, but they cannot afford. Right? So often it's not because of the physical, but it's more like the social economic, right? Issues that you need to really look at. Conservation is not just that you provide them access, right? But you need to think more than that, right? Why they cannot use it, right? Transportation, or some time, but all those. Low income. And this one is actually a little funny. We look at the Korean people in the language, the population, it look like there is a lot of Korean, right? But it's not, it's just the way you see the map. You need to really understand what data means, but how to interpret the data. Do you know that there is a book called How to Lie with Map? Do you know there is a book, How to Lie with Statistics? Depending on how you really package it, you can see there's nothing happening, everything is clear, right? But depending on how you use it, you can see something like really see some issues, right? And identify some of the issues too. And this one shows the, wow, asthma, right? Asthma of the Baltimore, right? Asthma outcome. But some people might say, wow, asthma, health disparity, there is a huge issue. But you need to be able to look at really where the data come from, right? This is coming from the practice. Actually, they do the survey every year, right, at the county level. So this data was not really available even at the county because we don't have enough sample size. But suddenly they provide this at the census tract and census block group level, right? Why? They don't have enough sample, but they developed a model. They realized that you need to have a small level of the analysis. So they developed model, try to estimate best number for the asthma. So what does that mean? You can see a pattern, but you shouldn't rely on the number. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
They can only estimate like weight, right? All those, right? However, that number is not really real. It's the estimated number. So whenever you do use this kind of number, you need to really know its background, right? How to interpret, and don't just believe the map. My question, like my suggestion to the students is I always ask them, always be curious, like always ask questions about your data, right? Until you really understand, right? This one is interesting, flood risk. I was really surprised. Maybe somebody can explain. This is flood risk by the quantile, which means they look at by entire country national percentage, entire census tract or census block group. They look at the entire country. They look at 10%, 20%, 30%, 90%. Like, do you guys understand what I'm saying? So this red is the 95 to 100% for the flood risk, right? Mm-hmm. However, this is really weird. This is at the national percentile. When I look at the state percentile means you look at only state data, look at the 10% of each, and then they show different data. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to explore, right? This is how data can be really sometimes screwed. I need to really look at the data carefully. And this one is like 100-year floodplain, 100-year floodplain, right? I play a lot with DJ Screen because of this event, right? Because there's a lot of things that I realized I didn't know. And I was surprised when you look at the even floodplain and sea rise, right? It coincides with a lot of state and federal kind of park. Like coastal, like, you know why? Because those land is inhabitable. So they are assigned as a park. I was surprised they rely on the science when they define all those parks and all those. So looking at this one is the 1 sea river wise. And you would be surprised actually. And then last week I was in Watershed, Virginia. Do you guys know where it is? Mm-hmm. It's a small fishing town, 220 population, but they have a fire station, small city hall, and all those. So I was here, Watershed, in And that's me. Sunrise. I just want to prove that I was there. And then I was really shocked. When I look at the Wansoo sea level rise, Watershed is gone. Right? This can be really like interesting education tool for the kids, right? So the sea rise, the sea, area that they visited, where they live, where their relatives live, right? So I realized that EJ screen with this kind of like some of the tool, there's a lot of things that you can show, right? And then also like you can overlay with lots of different population. Additional demographic has tons of different variables that you can add. I'm just going over the basic function of the EJ screen now. So you can actually, calculate some kind of threshold based on the criteria, and then you can define the area too. And then also they have all the facilities, school, place of worship, hospital, park, environmental data, tribal land and prison, public housing, right? All those data is available. You can overlap with lots of different data, right? Same thing, public housing. But another cool function which I didn't use is the reporting function. I was shocked. You can choose any location, time. So let's say, hey, I'm interested in like evaluating this use like the place, right? I want to do some project. What's existing project? You can choose a point. I said Baltimore like 101, and then 2-mile radius, right? Give me a statistic. They create all these environmental things, right? And even create a report. Look at this. How many people knew this function is available? 1, 2, 3. So wow, 3. I need to show something else so nobody can raise their hand. Okay. So this, if you want to ask this kind of function to consultant, right? Sorry for the consultant, they will charge like $10,000. I would charge $10,000. I used to do consulting when I was back in New Jersey, right? For the Delta Airline and Port Authority and all those. We charged a lot. Right? Oh, actually, they do much better job than me. Right? And you have average life expectancy 62. And then what is funny? Actually, I look at the area in Nashville. Nashville is most like segregated city in a way, right? So some part is really bad. The average life expectancy of the certain place was like 35. Oh wow. Something is wrong, right? You don't really expect that 35 is like average life expectancy, right? So you need to be always ask questions, right? Look at the number, get the idea, right? And then, but there's a ton of data. Unemployment 9%, person with disability 20%, male, female, same. So you can look at all this data and the linguistic isolation too, right? And you can do 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, and all those. Look at this. EJ index, supplemental index, all this like a pollution data too, right? But not just air pollution, but you can look at some of the wastewater discharge, and then some other data too, right? Everything is connected. What? Say everything is connected. Okay. What?
Everything is connected.
Everything is connected. There's a climate indicator, flood risk, right? Wildfire risk, right? Asthma, cancer, person with disability is really important too, right? In conservation, right? Providing access and also disaster management, right? If something happens, right? How can you really evacuate them, right? Safe and then fast manner, right? And then critical service gap. But another thing that I found out, not just point data, you can draw your project area and get statistics based on this area. How many people knew this function now? We have one. So I will keep doing it until we have good, we need to talk. But this is really super easy. You just need to know that there is a function like this, right? Once you know that this is possible, you just clicking button, right? And identify area and get the report, right? Don't you love this? Yeah. I'm not working for EPA. Okay, anyway. So, and this one, look at this. So I'm gonna have this area and the 2 mile radius, they create the 2 mile radius from those areas. Is at the point. So you can do line, point, polygon. And you can upload your GIS data. I'm going to show you how to upload your GIS data too. So what I did show you is so far, I only show what is available in EJ screen, right? But I had really interesting talk. Like one of my friend, he used to work at the MDDNR. He said, we are interested in this, DEIJ, right? But I call it actually JEDI, JEDI. It's much easier, with my. But anyway, try to look at the population, but there's a mix in the census block group. There's a really like rich area, and then and then there's like a really underserved area. But the statistics come together, so they can really show the detail. Even census block group is detailed, but you still need sometimes you need more detailed data too, right? So you need to bring other data where you can upload your data, right? Oh, so this one is that same statistic I show you, right? And then you can actually review several different data variables. But here's the thing. It's a data world. And then everything is what? Connected. There's a concept called interoperability. The interoperability is no matter what kind of hardware and software and platform you use, data can be used and migrated or linked same time, right? Without having difficulty of technology people, right? So this is the USGS. I met the person actually who created this map, National Map Services. So United States has a different website, National Map, EJ Screen, Climate Justice Map. You'll be surprised. They have tons of like the interactive map, but all those data can be shared and used. So for example, I have like this hydrographic and that land use land cover, right? If you click this is the US national map of their land use land cover. Do you know I can add this one in the EJ screen? How many people knew? Oh, I'm glad. Look at this. This is the EJ screen. There's a function called the add map service, right? So add map service is there's a 4 type. Actually, they will add more, I assume. And so one is the ArcGIS server, which a lot of people know ESRA product. And then OGC web services, open source like map server and geo server. KML is a Google map, right? And then also GeoRSS is another function. And then actually you can add more other layer. This is EJ screen map with the land use land cover that I brought it from National Map. All you have to do is just click the button. You're supposed to say, wow. That's not enough. And this is Maureen, like Maryland Environmental Resource and Land Information Network. So everything, I was surprised yesterday. One of the session I went to is the Chesapeake Bay program, right? They have like lots of GIS software. And then I was shocked. You know why? From Nashville, I had no idea that this program GIS was available. It's pretty sophisticated, right? But it's developed with a certain function. But they have all this GIS data layer like that. You can bring those data into EJ screen too. Are you getting it now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the the Maryland GIS. So in theory, you can bring this data and then you can overlap. But what they do have, so if you look at the source, this is like the data description, and then some here they have a link for the data services. And then all you have to do is put the data services in the EJ screen, and then you can see the map. So this one is the EJ screen, but look at this bike map on Maryland. Don't you love it? You know, I'm the only one who got excited all the way from Tennessee. Okay. So look at this. This is the URL that the Maryland State GIS is providing the bike map data, and then say the ArcGIS server. And then click add to the map. They have add to the map, and you have a bike map. So imagine what kind of data layer are there in Netherlands, Virginia, and Chesapeake, like Bay program. All those data, you can kind of cook it the way that you want, right? I'm a little lying now, because it's not 100% functioning yet. However, I think within a year or two, they see this potential and then they will make things happen. Because it's not the technology, it's the mindset, right? Because technology is there, but people do not really feel the need of how to integrate everything together, right? And to make it available to the community people. And this is the text map. Now you can see, wow, I can add the text map to the easy screen, right? Cool, right? Text map is much smaller than block group or anything that you want to work on it. Hydrofracking. There's tons of data available. Now you got the idea, right? Your mind is open now. Everything is what?
Connected.
Everything is connected, right? So when you find the data in hydrofracking or anything, you can connect it and you can view on the map. How many people heard IM Rivers before? It's like 10 years old program, only 2 people. I was the one who created this program like 10 years ago. But anyhow, I have to pay the bills, so I ended up going to the medical school. But I still have some people who are using this. So actually, 2013 to 2023, I'm still, Annapolis, they have this eco environmental program. They've been collecting tree data, animal, and then animal, tree, involved, like, in what, how do you call it? Involved, right? Yeah, and then they also something. So this is a tree map. So in this tree map, they can what? Look at like all the Maryland database, right? But same data can be what? Put into EJ screen. But it can be actually used to other software too, like the Chesapeake Bay Pro. I mean, I didn't really look at the detail, but in theory, any kind of software, they should be able to bring the data and they should be able to provide the data if they're willing, right? This is it. Yeah, I did this. So this tree map, right, in EJ screen. Aren't you excited? I don't really share anything. This is like not good. Right? Maybe I will come back next year. Okay. But you can see how things can be integrated, right? And this is one of the things that I use in the Galveston Bay in Texas. They use it for the pollution monitoring. But imagine all this data can be integrated in real time. Like New Mexico, they use it for the mapping all the time series level of the water data, right? However, look at this. Land cover tree canopy, where they are coming from? National map, right? And this data can go to where? EJ screen or any place, right? Now your mind is a little open now, right? Got it? Hello? And this is like San Diego river trash cleanup. So they use it for the like river cleanup and then mapping of the in-camp and all those. They map the parcel and all those. Like you have dumping things and all this detailed data, and then create the real-time like infograph too. But this one, it looks complicated. Actually, it's Google Studio. Everything is free. How many people use the Google Data Studio? Oh, we have some, yeah. So it's easy, right? Yeah, don't say easy. Sometimes they may think your job is really easy. But you need to understand, but it's much easier than you think, and you can create this kind of infograph in real time, right? So Nashville Food Resource. Now I'm going to talk another 20 minutes for the community participatory, community engagement. Nashville, I told you that it's most segregated city, right? And North Nashville, where I am, we have serious issues of the diabetes, hypertension, right? It's more than 2 or 3 times than the normal population. right? So what's happening is we think that a lot of community assets, like even park, access to the park and all those things could affect hypertension. Looking at the access to the healthy food, availability of healthcare service, environmental pollution, community safety, walkability, and all those, right? So my initial project is looking at the food accessibility. Food accessibility is getting the healthy food, right? And then, if you look at this Baltimore, this is the Baltimore food desert. Food desert means it's a place defined that they don't have access to healthy food. But you may just see, wow, we don't have food, we have serious food issue with this data, right? Based on the map. But in reality, it shows different actual meaning. Based on the food, like the accessibility map by USDA, they look at two components. One is the low income. So whether they can afford, right? So it doesn't really matter with the food accessibility of the distance or access, right? It's whether they can buy. And then another one is the access, which one is the within mile, right? Well, look at the rural area, more than like within 10 miles, whether they have a grocery. But the way you define grocery is interesting. Main grocery, big one, like huge one, right? And also, for example, the North Nashville, do you guys know Whole Foods, right? They have a Whole Foods actually just next to like highway from that neighborhood. Nobody go there. You know why, right?
Can't afford
If
it.
you are poor, right? And then if you are not get used to, and also from the study, they built a new grocery. 80% of population do not go to new one, right? And then for me, as you can tell, I'm Korean, right? South Korean, and I only go to Korean grocery. So having Korean grocery is my measurement of quality of life, right? So you need to really look at their culture and then all different aspects, right? To access. How many people are from Baltimore? Baltimore has lots of food accessibility issue. Do you know more than 50% of small grocery is owned by Korean? You didn't know, right?
No.
Yeah. But anyhow, they don't really utilize those things, those resources, right? But look at this. So I thought that more like a potential improvement, more accurate local food provider data, enhanced spatial analysis, cultural consideration, food quality and affordability and all those things. And then I bring the people in the community and we create the map. So people go out, we look at the SNAP data and big data and then business registration data and then Google and Yelp and all those, and we compile the initial data and then people go out and verify, right? So we have all this data and then also we can overlay with stroke and a lot of public health indicator data. But this was done by the community people, right? And again, that data is what? In EJ screen, right? So the reason that I'm showing you is the EJ screen, you can click and then just see it. All you need to know is what kind of thing is possible. But technology is really easy. You just need to go and click and then try to really use it. But what I'm saying is you can also use outside data and overlap, but you can also use your own data with the community engagement. That's what makes me like excited, right? This one, EJ screen with the, like land use, land cover. I kind of look at this one with the community garden and all other things. And this one is interesting. We have a tornado in 2020. Nobody knows what's happening. So my interest is the social justice and then disaster resiliency. So I want to see what's happening after tornado. So we look at we survey all the data and look at this housing, right? Before the tornado and after tornado, you know how we get it? My students don't want to go to that neighborhood. You know why? It's quite not safe neighborhood. But what I did was see how many people know Google Street View, right? You can see the Google Street View. Do you know Google Street View? You have historical data.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice, right? So you can look at the historical data before the tornado, and after tornado, you can assess what happened. Yeah. I'm not used to this kind of this. Yeah, who said wow just now? Yeah. I just, you know, I need more engagement, please. We have like 20 minutes left. So we have, you can see there is a, and then we got the housing data from the zero. Because you know zero, right? Right. So all those data, depending on like your purpose, you can grab it and you can bring it and you can compile lots of different information. Right? So everything is connected. My nickname will be everything is connected. Okay, look at this. So we look at the all the data in the different year and we see now it's empty, you know, all those. And then I'm looking at this one with the income and then race and ethnicity and some other data, right? Try to see whether there's an equal distribution, right, of the resiliency process. The EJ on conservation, identify high risk area, resource allocation. I mean, I think now you get it, like how it can be used, right? But it depends on how you can use the tool, right? They are basically tools like an Excel. But there's a tons of things that you can do, not just the data that they provided, but you can bring data or you can add your own data. And then there's something to concern, timeline. Some of the data look like it's like fancy, but it may be several years old, right? And then I mentioned about the like model data. So it's not real data, it's model data. So you cannot really say, hey, this is what's happening, right? You just use it as a reference, right? And then data source is important, geographic scale. EJ, the smallest level is the actual census block group level, but you need to kind of see, right? And then like limited variable and the data integration too. But potential is limit for this. But I want to actually, I just add a few more slides, right? I knew that I would have more time left. I talked too fast. This is a project that I did for the most funded by NIH, looking at the Zika virus. Do you guys know what Zika virus is, right? You know how the best way to avoid Zika like virus crisis is what? Remove get rid of all the mosquito. Yeah. Right? So mosquito breeding site. So what we did was we the students for the education, with middle school students, we mapped all the mosquito breeding site. Right? And so this is how they get it. This is how students like, you know, I actually work with lots of, you know, like underserved and minority population, like mainly. Yeah, so they do this. And one of the students said, my experience was really fun because we get to go around and we got to see all the things that we could stop to make sure that breeding of mosquito and Zika virus don't spread. It helped me believe what I could do in the future to prevent it, right? But I want to show some slides. What do you think about the event? A lot of fun and fun. A lot of fun and fun. And then, but this, how much did you know about Zika virus before today's event? They said what? Knew a little, don't know. We had 5 didactic sections, 5 lectures before the event. And yet they are saying they don't know anything. Are you following me? It's scary, right? Look at this. After today's mapping event, how much did you learn? Learn a lot, learn a little. A lot of kids. This is why the kids need to go out to the field and they need to share. They need to dialogue, right? How much did you know about the mosquito breeding site before today's event? Mosquito breeding site is known, you're little, of course, after 5 lectures, right? This is what happened. And then after today's, learn a lot, learn a little. Right? So this is like really good way of engaging students and community. So I will actually mention about something about the conservation. So how many people have their own domain name under their name? I'm the only poor guy. Wansoo.im is my website. Actually, I just purchased the domain name like recently, but I'm going to update. I think I'm really like super like interested in how to use this all different kinds of sites can be used used on conservation. So I will keep updating data. So like you can look at the data. Now, we remember that you guys enter the data like with the QR code. So I just want to show how it looks like. So this is what happens. Right? This is what people enter data. Right? Right? And that thing is on the server, so it's available. It can be connected. Everything is connected, right? So this data can be organized and created in the infographic in real time. It can be linked with the EJ screen or any kind of map. But I just want to show, don't be afraid of technology. It's much easier and much affordable, but most of the time is free. Right? But I want to say one more thing. Yesterday I met interesting, oh, he's there, Jonathan. Yeah, he mentioned he's a psychologist. And we had like the dinner. One of the things that I really love being here is being able to communicate with the people that I, never communicate in Nashville, right? And then he said, how to engage people and how to educate. He's in the education and then like environmental education field. For me, I'm right now writing a book about the genetics and cultural evolution and technology and the environmental, like the, pollution. But what is the best way to do the conservation? It's people, right? I think we need to really change our value system, right? You know that you're like immediate, like the son and daughter, right? You are willing to sacrifice your life to save them, right? The further away, you don't really care, right? That's the same thing in environment. If you look at the time, people concerned, you may see a lot of people do not really concerned after 100 years. But they do concern actually if you become 20 or 10 years old. But 10 years like later. You know why? They can see immediate, kind of relationship with their body, right? So I think a conservation, the way I think is we need to make people to feel, right? This nature and environment is really close to them. So they can feel the need of love and protection. That's it. Thank you. Any questions or comments?
We got lots of time for questions, yeah.
By the way, I'm a little deaf, so you have to speak up.
Thank you. I have a question. So with the, I may have missed it, but with the mapping, like say for instance, Ezekiel one, that was for wireless, but like you can upload your own map to the EJ screen, but if you're not using a BioBlitz or some of these other specific maps, can you just use,
You can, there's so many, you can use a Google Map. Google Map, you can download as a KML and you can upload it. So what I can do is I can promise, I want to really come back next year, right? So I will keep writing this information to how you can use, right? And you can ask a question and then I will post it to the site. But there's a lot of publicly available too. But Google My Map is amazing, right? You can enter data, you can download as a KML and KMZ, right? And then you can use it. You can use the link. Yeah. Well, if you have a little knowledge, you can actually convert as a shapefile, a ESRI file. You can upload the shapefile as it is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's easier than you think. It's much easier than you think, right? So don't get scared. As long as he can do it, I can do it. Okay. That's it. No question. Usually. Okay. Okay.
Is it possible to download layers from EJ Screen and add them
Yeah.
together?
EJ Screen data, entire 2015 to 2022 is available in the FTP site. It's pretty big though. Yeah. But there's an EJ Screen data, there's a NASA data, a lot of data they make you like a download. But you need to have a lot of resources, right? To be able to download like several 100 gigabytes of data, sometimes several like 600 megabyte data or something like
Would
that.
the shapefile be that big too?
shapefile can be that big sometimes, like as a geodatabase. Yeah, so sometimes it's much easier to just bring as a service. Because service means that you use their computing power, you just use the service of the database. So you have to kind of, it requires a little bit of experience. Right? Okay, you know what? I was so nervous before the talk because this is my first talk about this topic. Now I can have a beer. And thank you. I think we can, I will be here for next 10 minutes. So if you have any question, but I will update what I talk into that Wansoo.in, right? And if you have any questions, you can send me email. Okay? Thank you.
Please fill out your evaluations. If you don't have one, Hope is standing in the back by the door. She'd be happy to give you one. You will get your raffle tickets. Bring them with you after to dinner tonight because the raffle is tonight. So remember your raffle tickets after dinner. Thank you.
I know you can come for